Okay, so I'm going to come back and work on this. This is an office I set up, and I have a router over here. I have an access point here. End user devices. I'm going to replace all these analog phones with an IT phone just to get experience. Now, from what I'm understanding, the wall outlet goes to the IP phone, and that works as an intermediary, and then it goes to the PC. So that's exactly what we're going to do. All right. I'm going to disconnect that. I'll do something with that. Okay, we got all that. Now let's go ahead and use some end user devices. We're going to bring in some IP phones. I'll show you what we're going to do here. We're going to get rid of that connection, because what we're going to do is we're going to come from the switch to the IP phone to the computer, right? It's going to work as an intermediary. At least that's what I've been studying. We're going to go ahead and get rid of that one too, so that you can see how I'm thinking and what I'm doing. All right. What I'm also going to do with this TV, because it's just a standard TV, it looks like, I don't know if it's a smart TV or not. I could, well, I guess it is port. So maybe it is some sort of smart TV. I'll have to look at it. Just to be on the safe side, I'm going to go ahead and X that out, and I'm going to replace that with a tablet that we're going to call a smart TV, okay? That we're going to call a TV. So I'm going to do one more IP phone here. All right, cancel now. We want to keep that IP phone. So we're going to move the IP phone. I mean, we can place it physically anywhere we want it. I'm going to place the IP phone here. That way I should be able to run the router. There may not be any more ports left on that one. And if there's not, then we'll run it from a switch. It's probably the best idea. I know what we'll do. We'll run the switch from here to that's what we'll do. All right, we kill that connection. Okay, so watch. I'm actually going to get rid of all these connections. Add some IP phones in here. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to get rid of all the connections. Let's start from scratch. It's okay to do this. In troubleshooting, it's how we learn. Okay, so let's look and see what we got. We got our router. That's going to be our main feed. We're going to have a switch here and an access point here. That's going to feed the laptops over here and the smart TV over there. All right. So we're going to have two PCs on each desk and an IP phone on each desk. Put two switches over here. We can segment it. I mean, if it's a bigger office, I can put the big switches, 48 ports, 200 million port. That'd be nice, right? And I could just feed those cables through the ceiling, through the walls, into outlets, right? So I wouldn't actually need to put physical switches in the corner, right? So let's just think of signal flow here. So that's what we're going to do here. I'm going to break those down and see my end user devices. And then from that point on, I'll start running the cables, and then I'll start feeding the signal. So let's see what our end user devices are. We got our router, two PCs, an access point. I want an access point to feed the laptops and the smart TV for people in the office to watch. Router here, access point, and we're going to hardwire. We got a switch over here and here and here. I'm not going to put physical switches in each corner. I'm going to have an IDF closet with the switches, and I'm going to run the cables through the top, through the ceiling, and through the wall, and then I'm going to crimp. I'm going to put up the outlets, and then we're going to run them into the wall the way you would a telephone cable back in the 70s and 80s, right, when I grew up in the 80s. All right, so I'm going to call this video Breaking It Down, and then I'm going to rebuild. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by cabling all this. I'm going to run from the router to the switch, right, which is basically just routing the signal. The IP, and then the PC is the final end user devices. We're going to do that. All right. I'll only put one IP phone on the desk. I can put 2, but just for time's sake, I can put 1. So I'm going to go router to switch IP, IP, PC. Then this is going to come to the PC. Maybe. Might have to run it from the switch there again, through the wall of the table. Then I want to plug in that lightweight access point to feed the signal in this room, which can be picked up by the laptops and the TV. And then over here, this is a switch, but again, I would be using wall outlets. Same thing, switch to IP, IP to end user device. Switch to end user device only because I have 1 IP phone, not 2. And then I'm going to do the same thing. Let's get rid of that analog there. Let's bring over an IP, and that's just to get practice doing that, okay? And while we're at it, let's go ahead and put we'll put a laptop on this table. And we'll go ahead and put a tablet on this table, all right? So we can practice running some Wi-Fi devices too. So we'll have these switches will be, you know, router switch, hardwired PC, going through the IP phone, wireless access point. Wireless access point can feed the signal to be picked up by smart TVs, laptops, and that. And that's what we'll call this video, breaking it down. I'm going to go up here and save this. Save this. I'm going to put office breakdown. And then we'll build it back up, right? We'll call that packet office breakdown, and we'll stop it there.